Okay, this is the BibleWorks map module, and when you first do it, you see this little helpful hint, which you can click on the box so you don't see it again. Okay, this is your, I don't know, background maps, and then here are your presets, I guess. But it's kind of pretty. As you can see, this is Israel. And you can select whether you want satellite, Landsat, land cover, Africa, Middle East. Okay. Places mentioned in the Song of Solomon. You can widen this, good. See? So that if you're reading the book of Leviticus and you want to see the places mentioned in Leviticus, you check it. And here you can see Canaan. And if that's too hard to see because it's a relief map, you can elect, I'm using this for the first time, so satellite imagery, I don't know if that's going to be good. God, I don't know if this is going to hang up the machine. There, that's satellite imagery. Alright, if you don't want that, then turn it off. You got elevation, and that's showing you elevation. Turning that off, now you got nothing but the word Canaan. So let's try land cover. That makes it a little easier to read, except no cities are listed. Okay, because I said places mentioned in Leviticus is what I had checked. So now I uncheck that, and let's look for places mentioned in Exodus. There, see? So the most readable is going to be if you use, what did I check? Land cover. This one right here, land cover. That makes the place names easiest to see. Okay? And then of course, I've got this really I don't know how to use this yet, okay? And there's no minimize or sizing. I guess you could do this to size it down and move it down here. And then you can widen the map, but apparently not enough. Alright, to be able to see what's over here on the left hand side, there's no scroll bar, and it's causing my machine to hang up. But at least you know that if you elect the, see, this is not working. So we're going to click that off, and we're going to click that off because this is causing too much trouble while I record it. As you can see, the video is not working real well. It takes a while to recover. But that's what happens if you click this thing that looks like a north, south, east, and west. This button right here, that's the map module. And unfortunately it's not showing the tooltip, so it'll tell you that's what it is. There, now maybe there, see, BibleWorks map module. So that's a kind of cool thing. Unfortunately I can't show it to you because, like I said, BibleWorks 8 and my screen recorder don't get along at all. So I will not be doing my regular videos, my exegetical videos using BibleWorks 8. It's just too much trouble. I always have to restart and restart, and it's just a nightmare. Okay, so that was on the map module. The other thing I wanted to show you is right here. It turns out that when I said my exegesis, oh God, it's freezing up again. When I wanted to show this, the exegesis, the reason why I couldn't get more Greek versions to display was because I hadn't selected, I was selecting the Old Testament, and in the Old Testament there's only the LXX. Alright, so for the New Testament, just so that you see this, you've seen me do this before. Okay, this is the Byzantine. It's showing in the wrong order. This is another bug in BibleWorks. I have set it up so that this is supposed to display first in my display order, but it won't do that. Okay, so that's a bug. and I don't know how to fix it yet. I've restarted the machine, I've changed it over and over, I've saved it, it doesn't matter, it won't listen to me. Okay, and so the version order doesn't properly work when you're using multiple Greek texts. This was supposed to be first. That's why it's set up in my version order, but it won't display. So that's usually first. This is BibleWorks' own versions. See, tools. It's going to die on me. I'm going to have to stop it. I'll come back in the next increment. Okay, I got a better version of the map but then lost the sound, so I'm going to just try to recap what I'm saying here. I'm trying to show you how to make what you see on screen. First, you want to check that box where it says background bitmaps. That's really important. And that's going to enable you to see different versions. Elevation is the first version that they show, but that's really just a granular sort of overview of the elevations. That they don't really help much. I wasn't really pleased with the way that turned out. And I don't know what else I was saying during this when I lost the sound, but basically, you know, you don't want to check elevations. The second one is satellite imagery, and that's, you know, basically what you see like in a street map when you switch to satellite. That too is not very helpful unless you're used to it or you've been trained in reading that kind of imagery. I don't prefer that sort of thing, and those are the options, but they're no good as far as I'm concerned. Okay, the one that I'm using is going to show up next, and that is called land cover. And I've checked that, and it automatically checks those two boxes, Western and Eastern Med, which you zoom to see. And I'm using the zoom. I'm showing you now how to use the zoom. Okay, zooming left is to zoom out, to show more of the area. Zooming right is to zoom in, showing less of the area but in more detail. Okay, and you move it very, very slightly. Just like in Google Maps, you want to move it very slightly. Okay, and then, you know, you have to, if you click on that, you're going to get all those boxes checked, which you want. The next one is borders and waterway, which all those white squiggly lines are waterways. And it's covering the whole area, but that's because you can zoom out the map. I mean, you can just pick one area, but since we're only showing the Middle East, then you might as well just cover them all, and you get that by clicking on borders and water overlays. Okay, and then again zooming it left in order to zoom out so you see more of the area, but the text then gets smaller. And then you'd be moving it right in order to see less of the area but in more detail. Okay, I'm not sure what I said next. I'm waiting to see what the cursor does, and then I'll tell you what it was I did. I think I'm talking about the amazement that I had at all that water. The whole place is just floating on water, and it's an earthquake zone, actually. But not too many earthquakes have happened in recent memory. But you can see the whole place is floating on water, so it's not really as dry as it looks. I think that's about all I said at this segment. Okay, so now I'm showing the zoom again, and we're zooming in to show the area better and to show the text being bigger, because the text will get bigger. See how much bigger it is there? Okay, and you can see more about the water, and especially Jerusalem, which, according to my pastor when he exegeted Revelation, every single verse in Revelation during the years that Edward P.F. 123 claimed to be there but wasn't, because I was there, he exegeted verse by verse, and he says that in Zechariah 14 at the second advent, Jerusalem was split north-south, so there's going to be an east-west port going all the way out to the Mediterranean. Okay, so it's going to become a freshwater port, which is really amazing because the Mediterranean, of course, is a sea. And it's bounded by the Dead Sea, and it's going to bisect the Dead Sea also. So it's going to be running east-west. The new port is going to run east-west. So now I'm showing you how to zoom in and zoom out, how the effect it has on the text. Okay, And I think next I'm going to show you how to increase the size of the text. I don't remember. I'm just showing how the zoom function works, how very little you need to change it in order to get big changes on the screen. But at some point I show you how to do just zoom the text. Maybe not yet. I'm probably still talking about the waterways, how many of them there are. So as you can see, you know, it is really a land of milk and honey, because you got all these waterways. I mean, even in the US we don't have that much water available. It's way deep, okay, and they have a salinization problem because it's so deep. I must be talking about the earthquake in Jerusalem right now. Yeah, I'm talking about going east-west. See, that's the way the hand is moving. That's to illustrate what's going to happen at the Second Advent when it splits Jerusalem in two, and the canal is going to be running right in the middle of the city. That's predicted in Zechariah 14, and to some extent it's talked about in Revelation 21. So now I'm going back to the zoom again, and I'm showing zooming out, and it takes a while for it to occur. Okay, and so now it's a question of seeing what the whole area is. And those are modern day city names, by the way, at the moment. And I was trying to show the whole split, seeing that it might go across all the way across Saudi Arabia, which maybe it will, I don't remember. So it would actually bisect the middle of the earth, which would be very interesting. Okay, see, now that's when you zoom it all the way to the left, and you can see the connection to the three continents. And what I wanted to show was, see how much water is concentrated in that area? Isn't that amazing? Look at all that water. Those are those white lines. That's the water. But you wouldn't know it to look at it on the surface. Okay, so now we're zooming it up again in order to get the text size to be better. And it slightly increases the text. Again, I'm focusing on the central location of Jerusalem and increasing the size of the text again in order to show the effect of that. Like I said, you have to be really careful. Okay, and then increasing the size of the text again, or actually just the zoom, what that does to the size of the text. You'll notice that some of the cities are overlapping because, you know, cities have names that changed. Okay, that's one of the ways that you know the Old Testament is not written 700 BC and later, because the place names changed over the years. Okay, I'm going to try to record this again. Hopefully I won't lose the recording. I don't know why the screen recorder cuts off. I want to show you some things. You saw this, but now I've taken away the place names. It bombed the last time. I couldn't get rid of them when I tried in order to save memory. Again, background bitmaps, you want that on. Okay, if you turn it off, you could get that. I don't know how come I got that. All I did was click on the name background bitmaps and nothing changed. But apparently that made it change. I don't know why. And then what I had shown was that I had land cover. Oh, I got rid of land cover. I mean, I didn't uncheck it, but it unchecked itself. So if you uncheck land cover, you get, you know, a pencil sketch type map. And all these, you know, periwinkle colored lines are water. And obviously the dark blue lines are water, and the red lines are political boundaries. So that's kind of cool. We'll leave it like that. Maybe that makes it easier to see. Okay, now here's what's so cool about this. What gave me the waterways was this little button here, borders and water overlays. Now you can't see anything. So that was the only thing that was working. So basically everything was off except for borders and the water overlays. So far I'm still recording. I am so paranoid about this. That's the air conditioning in the background. Okay, so that's all that's on is borders and water overlays. Now watch this. Let's say you're reading the book of Numbers and you want to get a sense of where the places of the books of Numbers are located. Bingo. Now what I didn't have a chance to show you in the last video because it bombed was, see here this plus A? That makes the names bigger, but it's also going to make them overlap. Alright? And you'll notice that you kind of need to do that. So when they start to overlap, what you want to do is you want to zoom to the right. So it'll be bigger, but you got to be careful how much bigger. Again, you know, less is more. Okay, and if you can't stand all that white, then what you do is just turn on land cover right here. Hopefully this won't bomb. See? So now that makes it, gives you a little more contrast. Alright? But you can be doing this per book. That's what's so cool. All I've done is check the places mentioned in Numbers at the time of Numbers, so that you can read along and sort of get a sense as you're reading where this stuff is taking place. And of course, you know, you can zoom out a little bit going to the left, but then your place names are not going to be so easy to read. You can only read the really big names. You can't read these little towns in here. Okay? So for that, you would have to increase the text size or zoom it more to the right. But that's what's so cool about this. It's just per book. Okay? Most of your atlases, and I just got one in the mail, even Tim Dowley, which is my favorite atlas, they don't give you this kind of pinpoint control. Okay? This kind of customization. So this is a really good feature, and you access it right up here. Let me pull this down a little bit so you'll see the tooltip. See where it says this thing? Oh God, I hope my computer doesn't die now. Wait a minute. Let me minimize this window. It's not letting me minimize. Okay, yeah. See, this tooltip is the BibleWorks map module. That's what I clicked on to get this. Okay? So that is really like absolutely cool that you can do that. Okay, and then you can increase the text size or decrease it. But see, as you increase it, you're increasing all these small towns that weren't showing. So then you're going to have to do your zoom thing, and I'm beginning to lose control of the machine because it's not responding. So I'm going to quit now, and hopefully I can do it again in the next increment.